St. Petersburg, Russia, June 1762. A German-born princess is about to execute one of history's most audacious power grabs. Before the month ends, she will overthrow her own husband, seize the throne of the world's largest empire, and change the course of European history forever. Welcome to Animated History. I'm your guide through time, and today, we're exploring the extraordinary rise of Catherine the Great, a story of ambition, betrayal, and political genius that would make modern power struggles look like child's play. Born Sophie Friederike Augusta von Anhalt-Zerbst in 1729, Catherine began life as a minor German princess from an impoverished noble family. At just 14 years old, she was summoned to Russia by Empress Elizabeth, who was searching for a bride for her nephew and heir, Peter. Determined to succeed in her new homeland, the teenage Sophie learned Russian, converted to the Orthodox faith, and took the name Yekaterina, or Catherine. She understood something crucial that her future husband never would. To rule Russians, one must become Russian. In 1745, Catherine married the young Grand Duke Peter. The marriage was a disaster from the start. Peter was childish, mentally unstable, and openly despised Russia and its people. He made no secret of his preference for his native Germany, particularly Prussia, Russia's enemy. While Peter played with toy soldiers and held mock military drills with servants, Catherine educated herself. She devoured books on Russian history, law, and philosophy. She studied the writings of Enlightenment thinkers like Voltaire and Montesquieu. Most importantly, she built relationships with the powerful noble families and the Orthodox Church. In 1754, Catherine gave birth to a son, Paul, though rumors swirled that the child's father was not Peter, but one of Catherine's lovers. The truth will never be known, but what's certain is that Empress Elizabeth immediately took the child away to raise herself, further straining the royal marriage. In January 1762, Empress Elizabeth died. Peter III ascended to the throne, and Catherine became Empress Consort. But Peter's reign would be one of the shortest in Russian history. Peter immediately made powerful enemies. He withdrew Russia from the 7 Years' War just as they were about to defeat Prussia, instead forming an alliance with Russia's longtime enemy. This infuriated the military leadership who had sacrificed so much for victory. He antagonized the Orthodox Church by attempting to force Western reforms and confiscating church lands. He alienated the palace guards by replacing them with Holstein troops and making them wear Prussian uniforms. Most dangerously, he publicly humiliated Catherine, threatening to divorce her, disinherit their son, and marry his mistress. Catherine knew her life was in danger. It was time to act. Catherine had spent years cultivating allies. Chief among them was Grigory Orlov, an officer in the Imperial Guard and Catherine's lover, along with his 4 brothers, all respected military men. She also had the support of Princess Dashkova, the sister of Peter's own mistress, and key members of the nobility who feared Peter's erratic behavior. On July 8, 1762, Catherine received urgent news. One of her conspirators had been arrested, and Peter planned to have her imprisoned the next day. She had to move immediately. In the early morning hours of July 9th, Catherine was smuggled out of her palace. Wearing the green uniform of the Ismailovsky regiment, she rode to their barracks in St. Petersburg. The soldiers, already disgruntled with Peter, cheered her arrival. "I come to you for protection," she declared. "Peter plans to kill me, and your beloved Orthodox faith is in danger." The regiment immediately swore allegiance to her. Soon, other military regiments joined her cause. By midday, Catherine entered St. Petersburg to the cheers of crowds and the ringing of church bells. The Senate and the Holy Synod quickly proclaimed her the sovereign ruler of Russia. In just a few hours, without a single shot fired, Catherine had seized control of the empire. Peter was at his palace in Oranienbaum when he learned of the coup. He vacillated between defiance and despair. ultimately choosing to abdicate rather than fight. He wrote a humiliating letter of abdication, hoping this would allow him to return to his beloved Holstein. But Catherine's supporters knew that as long as Peter lived, he remained a threat. The former emperor was placed under house arrest at a remote palace. 3 days later, Alexei Orlov, brother of Catherine's lover, visited Peter. What happened next remains controversial. The official report stated that Peter died of hemorrhoidal colic, a ridiculous claim that fooled no one. Most historians believe he was strangled or otherwise killed by the Orlov brothers, possibly with Catherine's implicit approval. When informed of her husband's death, Catherine publicly expressed grief. Privately, she must have felt relief. At 33 years old, the German princess had completed her transformation. She was now Catherine II, Empress and autocrat of all Russia. Catherine's coronation in Moscow was deliberately designed to emphasize her commitment to Russia. Unlike her husband, she embraced Russian traditions and the Orthodox Church, even while harboring Enlightenment ideals. Over her 34-year reign, Catherine would expand Russia's borders, modernize its laws, establish the country as a major European power, and earn the title the Great, the only woman in Russian history to receive this honor. Later in life, Catherine wrote in her memoirs, "I had to choose between my own downfall and that of Peter. I chose to save myself." In the deadly Game of Thrones that was 18th century politics, Catherine proved herself the ultimate player. Catherine's rise to power raises fascinating questions about ambition, gender, and political survival. Was she a cold-blooded usurper or a brilliant strategist who saved Russia from an incompetent ruler? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this royal scandal, hit subscribe for more animated history. Until next time, I'm your guide through the fascinating stories of our past.